Another way to optimize your image is when we're exporting it actually. So we can go back to visit this image that we were just working with. I'm going to actually just change the size of the image itself, make it a little bit smaller here. And in our modifying tools menu at the top, we've got some options here where we can modify the canvas, and we can modify the image size itself, selecting, and we can have, this is the dimensions of it, this is the print size, which can be adjusted. We also have a choice to modify the canvas size and canvas color. So right now canvas size is 300 by 200, so we can adjust that. We can see that down here at the bottom. We've got an option to trim the canvas or fit the canvas. And what trim the canvas is going to do, this is going to trim the excess that was around the canvas. The other option that we have is to fit the canvas, and this makes the image exactly to fit the canvas itself. And what happens is, if our image was too large, if we change it into to trim the canvas, then we're going to lose the excess part of our image that was outside of that area. We also have our options to rotate it 180 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees, and rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. We've got also our animations that we were looking at before, editing the different symbols, and the pop-up menus where we can add a different pop-up menu if we need to. We also have to export the file. We can save it. When we save it, it's going to be saved as a PNG file because this is what Fireworks is working with. If we want to export this particular image that we are working with, we have an option for export preview. We can export, or we can go to export wizard. So we're just going to quickly go through the export wizard and the way that the export wizard is working. It asks us what we want to do now. We want to export it, or if we want to select a target size, we can do so here. We can go ahead to continue. It's going to ask us where we want to export the graphic to. So it gives us some options, and it's going to just give us, depending on what we click off here, it's going to put the image in a particular file. So right now for the web, it's going to optimize the size, probably place it in a GIF or a JPEG file. Now it asks us, it tells us that it recommends a GIF or a JPEG format. So I'm going to go ahead and exit to view what their recommendation. We can still make some adjustments here just before we export. We finish exporting it. We've got the preview. It's put into JPEG because this is the smallest size. We're able to adjust the quality, the smoothing. We've got, once again, progressive, sharp edges, and we've got the preview of how, if we make any changes, we can see in the preview that the file size is changing. This is the amount of seconds, kilobytes per second, that's going to be downloaded in. If we're working with the GIF images, we've got the same options as when we were optimizing, where we can make certain, by creating index transparency, we can make certain areas transparent in the image. And this is just kind of like a final optimizing area, and then we would simply go to export, and we would be exporting the settings that would tell us where we want to export it, the name, what we want to call it, and what type of image we want to save it as. So we're going to save it as just HTML and images, and it'll create our JPEG file for us. A JPEG file of this particular image, and we can go further if we want. We can kind of optimize it if we need to. We've got the 4 up to have 4 different screens. We've got where we can cascade if we're working on several different projects. We can cascade all the different projects together. We can tile them horizontally if we've got some more projects. We're able to tile them vertically. An option for a project log, which is going to give us information on the different projects we've been working on. We've got the filters that we were looking at earlier, where if we were to create a particular object that we're working with, we've got some here that we can work with. Same as the effects that we were working with earlier. where we've got the different effect styles that we are able to adjust the colors, fill colors, bevels. We're able to create bevels if we want. We've got blur, other, shadow, sharpen, and we've also got the eye candy here. We've got a bevel boss, and this is a plugin into Fireworks, and here we can go into and we can adjust our particular image to whatever we want it to look like, adjusting smoothness, the bevel height. We've got an area where we can adjust the lighting of where the lighting is going to be coming in off the bevel, and we've got a lot of adjustments to the kinds of bevel settings that we have. So this is one of the plugins that we have, but standard we can see over here the same options. We have the bevel boss, we have a marble option, and it's going to convert this vector into a bitmap. So it's going to change it into a marble shape, and then our marble window opens up and we're able to select the way that we want the marble to look on this particular shape. We lose our bevel effects for that. And then we've got an option for a motion trail, where we're able to create a motion trail. We don't lose our marble effects for this. And we can see that we can change all the different settings that we need to and make it look exactly the way we want it. And depending on what image we're working with, we've got some options for filter, we're able to view, and some other different settings that we're able to work with. These are, once again, they're plugins. By default we can sharpen the image. We have other where we can convert it to an alpha. We can find the different edges around the image itself through the filter. We can blur it, and we can adjust the different colors of it. The effects is a great way to improve the look of your images that you're working with, and to customize the images exactly the way that you want them to look. Importing images from outside sources. We've got a scanner here, so we've got an ability to acquire it from the scanner source. We've got an option to reconstitute the table if we've got a table that we want to bring in. We can close the image. We also can have a keyboard shortcut of Control W. We've got to preview the export. We can import images. We've also got one that's called the batch process. This is if we've got some things that we've used earlier that we want to bring into some different commands that we've used earlier, and we want to bring them into the one that we are using right now. We can see that these are the different batch options that we used, and we can bring them in to our current document that we're working with, and we can save it and we can batch the file. And when we go to OK, we see that right now this file has been batched. Also got under commands, we've got the manage saved commands. If we've got some commands that are saved when we want to manage them. We've got one that we saved, which was the blue box. So if we want, we can open them up and we can work with them. We've also got the managing of the extensions. If we've got different extensions that we want it to work with. We want to run script. We've got an option to run the different script here, which we would have to open up and import into it. We want to add arrowheads if we've got maybe a line that we've created, and we're going to just go to command. We're going to add some arrowheads to it, and we're going to apply it, and we're going to see that we're able to add the arrowheads to what we've just created. And we see that the new image now has arrowheads upon it. So we've got some options here with the commands that we're able to do. And we see here, this is one of the ones that we worked on earlier, one of the commands, the blue box, and that's still here. And if we want to run the blue box command, we could do so through here also.